Make it back. I'm sorry I didn't have a chance to tell you ahead of time, so I thought would be able to do that, but I was not able to. I got caught up in doing some other things, and so here we are. So let's get a couple of people to join us. And as we start off, I should have brought my glasses. And I may need my glasses. Let me see if I have a pair right here. I just might need my glasses. And I don't have a pair right there. All right, I'm gonna see if I can do this because I want to be able to read the questions. Love you more. So tell us where you guys are going to be interacting from, what city you are interacting from. Let's see if we can do that. Because I want to entertain some of your questions tonight, some of your concerns that's in my area. I don't know it all, but just in my area, St. Louis, wonderful, Dallas, Philadelphia, Mobile, Austin, Texas, Houston, Atlanta, Tallahassee. Okay, come on Facebook. Tell us where you're logging in from. Lansing, Michigan, Chicago, Raleigh, Fort Smith, California, St. Louis, Chicago. Wonderful. Trinidad. That is awesome. Dayton, Ohio, got you. Norfolk, Virginia, Houston, Memphis, Tennessee, Mobile, Alabama, Birmingham, Atlanta. You guys are amazing. Yes. Philly girl. Freeport, Bahamas, Fredericksburg. I love Fredericksburg. My family, my spiritual family is there. Wonderful. Washington, D.C. Well, there's a lot of you tuned in, so let's talk. There are so many things and so many topics of concern of life that many people have and desire to ask some questions. And so this is one of those rare moments that today has been such a good day. The last couple of days have been such a good day that I decided to come on tonight just to do a very, of course, Facebook is informal, Periscope is informal anyway, but to do a very informal talk, question, Q&A, just to chat a little bit or a moment to see if there's any burning questions that you just want to just say, this is a question that or something that I would like addressed. Can you address this in a few minutes? So let's just shoot. Let's just go with this. Post your question. Let's see who posts a question right out the gate. That I didn't prepare anything tonight, but I do want to do a discussion. There are a lot of things. My anointing and my thing is. Let's see. Here we go. How do I get over being a failure in life? Nothing is going right for me. Okay, Emma. What you're gonna have to do is simply. Sometimes we think failure is bad. You would be shocked. Failure is a way for you to discover what it is you are created to do. So failure is wonderful. You look at any one person who's ever been great, who's ever done anything amazing, they fail starting out. I failed at so many things, and yes, you do feel like a failure, but you have to keep working it. Go back and watch some of the things that I posted earlier today. You have to just keep going. So failure is not always a bad thing. Really, failure is a good thing because it allows you to see what not to do wrong so that you can keep seeking to discover what to do right. All right? I hope that helped you. All right, let's get another question. Wonderful, you just shared my video with someone. Awesome. Give me another, let's do another question. Let's do another question. Anybody have a question? Now, y'all, this is a let's talk. How do you get over mental and physical and emotional abuse? Many times when you've been physically, mentally, and emotionally abused, you don't just get over it without the assistance of a spiritual assistance of God and clinical counseling by someone who is licensed and or gifted in that area to help you get over it. That is not something that is easily to get over, but it is possible. And you can get over it. The first thing is when you make up in your mind to let it go. That is the theme of my conference, Heal for Real conference, that's coming up at April 21st. I got over it. When God spoke that in my spirit, that was a personal testimony for me. And I made up in my mind there were some things that had occurred, people had done to me, people had said about me. I made up in my mind to simply get over it. I was no longer going to allow it to affect my life. Many times when you've been emotionally abused, mentally, physically, and all of the other areas, what happens is you hold on to those things because they become your comfort. And then it starts affecting all of the other areas of your life. You have to determine to let it go. It doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It doesn't mean that it didn't hurt. It doesn't mean that the person who did you wrong shouldn't continue to pay for what they did wrong. It just simply means you at that moment have made up in your mind to not allow what has happened to you to continue to control you, because the control of the residue of the pain is more severe than the pain itself. Okay, so stop allowing it to control you. Don't allow the pain to control you. Don't allow the thoughts to control you. Okay, you can get over anything that happened to you. You really can. You can get over it. Okay, another question. How can you stop thinking about suicide? Very good question. How can you stop thinking about suicide? I don't know who just asked that because I didn't see your name, but listen, if you are having suicidal thoughts, and which means suicidal thoughts, or you're contemplating suicide, or you've attempted suicide, you need to seek immediate help. Help from a counselor, help from a pastor, or help from someone, because you've got to break this. It can be broken. You can get into the word of the Lord and begin to just read and find scriptures that that speak life to you. You can connect with your friends or someone, because when you're having suicidal thoughts, you don't need to be by yourself. So for you, whoever you are, please seek some immediate help. You said, how do I stop thinking about it? You've got to replace those thoughts of suicide with something positive. So you've got to do the replacement therapy or replacement. It's a mentality thing, but what am I trying to say? You got to replace the thoughts that you're having, suicidal thoughts, with thoughts of I want to live, thoughts of why I want to live versus thoughts of why I want to die. And you've got to almost like force yourself. You've got to pray. But even through prayer, you've got to connect with someone to pray for you, because if you're having suicidal thoughts, it's not impossible for you to pray for yourself. It's just not good for you to pray by yourself. You don't need to be by yourself when you're having suicidal thoughts. You need to be surrounded by people that you know love you, surrounded by people that have your best interest, and surrounded by people that's going to support you and love you and walk you through this. Okay, so whoever you are, please call someone. Get into some counseling sessions to find out what is the root of my thoughts of suicide. If it's abandonment, rejection, or abuse of any kind, you need to get into some counseling so that they can walk you through the process to help you get over all of those thoughts and all of the things that occurred in your life. And if you don't know what happened or what occurred, then they can help you detect and get to the root of what occurred, and then so they can then begin to walk you to your place of healing. Please get some help today, tonight. Call someone, call a family member, tell someone how you're feeling. I really almost changed my shirt and put on my t-shirt that says, it's okay to say I'm not okay. So it's okay for you to say, I am not okay tonight. I need some help. I need someone to be with me because I don't feel comfortable being alone. Okay, do that tonight, all right? Okay, another question. Why is it hard to get a man off your mind completely or over him? We never dated. I was interested in him, but he decided to move on. Very good question. How do you get over a man? First of all, you said you never dated. So, and he wasn't interested in you, but you had a thing for him. Okay, there was a lot of things going on there. First of all, for you to be that infatuated and holding on to that much emotion for a man that you've never dated, you never had a relationship with, you never been intimate with them, that's some serious stuff going on right there. There's some serious stuff going on. And you are going to have to let that go, sister girl. Okay, he's gone. He's moved on. And he's basically said, listen, when a man is interested in you, he will make that known. When a man is interested in you, he will come after you. He will chase you. He will seek you out. But when a man has already shown you he doesn't want you, you're not his type, it has nothing to do. It doesn't say that there's something wrong with you. You're just not his type. So don't hold on to a fantasy relationship. Someone just said that. Don't hold on to a relationship of what may have been possible. And a lot of people do that because what you do, you will allow that to become infatuation, then you allow that to grow and to fester, and that's where stalkers come in. Listen, I can almost tell you what you do. I can almost tell you what you do. What you do is, because he's already told you, shown you, he's not interested in you. I guarantee you, you go on his social media page, you see who he's talking to, you're trying to determine if he's in a relationship, and all day long, it has consumed your day and consumed your life. You need to find life. You need to find life. Is what you need to do. You need to find some life. Because your life is not in him. It's not in him, and you're wasting your life thinking about a man who's not thinking about you. Ooh, now that's good right there. You need to write that down. I refuse to think about a man who's not thinking about me. And women, I've seen women waste their entire life hoping that one day he gonna wake up and marry you. First, he's got to wake up and notice you. Then he's got to wake up and date you. And then he's got to wake up and want you. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your life over a man who's already shown you he's not interested in you. Okay? I hope that helped you. Come on now, don't waste your time. You got a lot going on. Okay? So I hope that helped you. You don't have to get over him. You were never with him. So to say get over, I don't think that's the right, you said to get over or to get him off your mind. I can understand you seeing a man that you are attracted to and he leaves you with the willies and the wow factor. But come on now, you never dated anything. So that's some serious psychological fantasy going on right there. If you don't nip that in the bud, you're gonna really see yourself into some serious situation. You're gonna need some serious help. Okay? I hope that helped you. All right. Anybody else have a question? Somebody said they were sexting. I think she said that they never had a relationship. They never dated. He was never interested in her. This is just somebody she liked, that she desired. But he never had anything. How do you deal with people who can never see what they do wrong? There are some people in life that no matter what you do, no matter what you say to them, they are going to always be right. And so you have to make a conscious decision. How long do I want to stay in a relationship involved with somebody who always think that they're right? Because those individuals can literally drain the life out of you. You have got to decide, is that relationship valuable enough or worthy enough to keep pulling you down? Okay, so that's kind of simple. Once you tell them a couple of times and they still don't want to get it, you need to move on. Move on. They're not worth it. The friendship may not be worth it. And if it is worth it, then friends reciprocate friendship. Relationship love is reciprocated. You just can't come and say, well, I love them and they always mistreating me. That's not a relationship. That's a slavery. You're enslaved. So you need to see what's going on with that relationship or with those individuals that they never want to admit that they are wrong. Okay? That's a kind of a simple one. How does forgetting play a part in forgiveness? Oh, very good. My book is about that. My new book is about that. Listen, when someone hurts you, this is the misconception that the church has taught us about forgiveness. They have taught us that forgiveness means you forget it and you move on. That is not forgiveness. That's not forgiveness. Forgiveness simply says that I am releasing you for what you did to me. But there's some things that happen to you, you may not ever forget it. But forgiveness says, I'm not going to hold you. I'm not going to hold it against you any longer, what you did to me. But I don't forget it. But remembering it doesn't mean I'm going to throw it up in your face and I'm going to keep using it against you. There is some abuse that happened in my life. I will never forget it. But I chose to forgive the person who did it to me so that I could live and move forward. So don't get caught up in saying, well, I got to forget it. No. The more you are healed and the more you grow and the more your spirit is lifted and get to a place of healing and deliverance, the memories may become more vague and ease off. But you can forgive a person while you're still going through the pain that they put you through. And you can forgive them. But that doesn't mean you've forgotten what they did. Okay, I hope that helped. I'm trying to keep my answers shorter, but I hope that you're getting this, okay? All right, let's get some more questions. God delivered me from homosexuality. Oh, you're going to have to get that one again. But where I start, the only experience I've had was being gang raped and molested when I was 13. Okay, I missed the first part, but I'm going to hope I get this. God delivered me from homosexuality, and you were gang raped and you were molested when you were 13 years old. So you want to know, how do you get over that? Wow. First of all, I'm so sorry to hear what happened to you. I am so sorry to hear that at such a young, tender age. Rape is never good. Rape is so painful. But to hear that you were gang raped and then that you were molested at 13, my heart goes out for you and my prayers goes out towards you. And but here's the deal. Here's the deal. Many people, not all, but many people who find themselves experiencing in the lifestyle of homosexuality, and those that I have come across and dealt with and counseled with, who have shared with me, and many of the readings that I've read, but most of the ones who shared with me have said to me that they didn't start out feeling that they were gay or feeling that they desired same-sex relationships. But many of them said to me, Dr. Capehart, I was abused at a young age. I was raped. I was molested. I was violated. And so usually what I ask them this question, so do you feel that you are gay, or do you feel that you are bitter toward the gender that raped you, so you shut off your ability to ever be with that particular gender again in a sexual relationship? And so then you turned to the same sex person simply because they may bring comfort in that area. And so most, those who I have had the dealings with have said that that is very a strong possibility because of the fact that they were raped at a young age. They associate that with the pain, and it pushed them into the arms of a same sex. Now, I'm not saying that all homosexuals or the homosexual relationships all are like that at all. That's not what I'm saying. I don't want anybody to misquote me. I want you to hear what I'm saying. But I do believe that many individuals go, it's just like the same, and I'll give you another example, being very sexual promiscuous. That's where I was, and I believe that when young children are violated early and young, that opens up that door in that. And so it'll send you on a path of being sexually promiscuous when that's not really what you want to do. It's just that that door was open to you, and so you find yourself doing that because you're trying to find someone to close that door that was open, a violation. So you go into, you just get wild, and that's what I see a lot happen. And so you have to have some counseling. You have to get into a place to realize that first you've got to get healed from the rape, and then you've got to deal with all of the other forms of feelings that come as a result of it. The physical side of rape always heals quicker than the emotional side of rape. Okay? And so the emotional side of rape, you've got to deal with how to handle a relationship going forward. Okay? Getting healed from what happened to you physically and mentally, and then how to allow yourself to love again after that. Okay, so I hope that that helped a little bit, because one bad relationship should not cause you to forfeit or to miss out on a very wonderful, healthy relationship. And you can have a healthy sexual relationship after the most violent rape of your life, but you have to be able to heal, be free, and be whole again in order to have a healthy sexual relationship after being violated by rape, and especially by gang rape. Okay, so I really hope that that helped you. Okay, I have caught so much of you. Oh, okay, I don't think I need to read that one. Have you ever had a fear of success, mainly due to stepping out of the control zone? Yes, I do. I have that, but I press through that. I usually press through those doubts, because you have to allow yourself to fall. You have to allow yourself to make mistakes, just in case. If you are afraid to make mistakes, you will never be successful. You will never do anything great. You will never do anything great if you are afraid to make mistakes. That's just the bottom line. Bottom line. Okay? My brother died February 19th of suicide. Is it wrong to be upset with him? Okay. I don't want to sound cynical, and I don't want to sound crazy, because I've realized you're probably still in pain. February 19th was very fresh. Okay. But here's the deal. Being angry at him won't bring him back. It just won't bring him back. Being angry at him for taking his life is going to cause you to miss out on life. I hope you're hearing me. Suicide is one of the most painful things that can happen in a family. But to hold on and be angry with him for taking his life, look at it this way. Something drove him to take his life. Something drove him, some pain that he was not able to get past, unfortunately, pushed him to a place that he felt that living life was too painful, and that taking his life seemed to be the way out, which is never, ever the way out. But to be angry with him and to live now with this pain of anger, frustration, on the what if I could have done this, maybe I could have stopped him, maybe if I would have been there. Don't do that to yourself. Do not live your life on the what if I could have done more. Yes, there are times we all could do more. But once someone has taken their lives, don't beat yourself up for the life that's gone. Use that energy to save a life that's still here. I hope that that just helped you. Use the life that was taken to save a life that is still here. I hope that that helped you. Do that. Don't be angry with your brother. Something in your brother was so painful for him that he chose death rather than life. And unfortunately, it has made his family very sad, very painful to get over. But use his death to bring life to others. Become an advocate for suicide. Go answer the phones at the suicide hotline. They're always looking for wonderful volunteers. Go talk to the, start a little program and go talk to people at the high schools and in your community. Look for those red flags that you may have missed with your brothers, and go see those red flags and stop those red flags from others who are still alive. I guarantee you that will bring you more peace than being angry with your brother for taking his life. I hope that helped you. Another question. What makes an adult violates a child? Seem like this is an epidemic. It's a spirit. It's a spirit. It's a very sick spirit. And anytime an adult or anyone would sexually violate a child, it's a spirit. It's a demonic spirit. Yes, someone said that. It's a demonic spirit. And but this is what I want us to get into. I don't just want us to pray for the victims. We've done that, and we should continue to do that. My prayer in this season is not just toward the victim. I'm not just going for the healing of the victim. I'm going for the deliverance of the violator as well. I don't just want to lay hands on the person who was wounded. I want to lay hands on the person who did the wounding. I want to lay hands on the person who did the cutting. I want to lay hands and to get the person delivered who committed the rape. Because if we can get them healed, if we can get them delivered, then hopefully, prayerfully, they will not be able to continue the violence that they are doing, the woundings and the lives that they are destroying. We must begin to seek and pray for the deliverance of the violators, as well as we pray and seek for the healing of the victims. And most of the times we're ready to kill and slaughter the violator. But God, but Jesus didn't just die on the cross for the victims. He died on the cross for the violators. And I believe that when we begin to pray that way, pray for the whole body, the whole nation, the whole country, those who treat us right, we also got to pray for those who treat us wrong. And I think when we do that, then things will begin to change. I don't just pray for the people who love me. I pray for the people who hate me. Isn't that the word of the Lord? Pray for those who spitefully use you. Pray for those who persecute you. Say all manner of evil against you. Come on. That's the word. And so that's how we got to pray. And there are a lot of people who are hurting, wounding, and abusing people because someone abused and broke them. Behind every rapist is someone who's broken. Severely broken. And if we can get them and heal what's broken in them, maybe they will stop breaking others. Okay? Another question. Does that make me weak? Because a lot of times I don't feel like I'm the head. Are you talking about head of the household, like the king of the castle? I believe that's what you're saying. No, that doesn't make you weak. That makes you human. So it does not mean that you're less of a man. That means you're just human. And there are days the leaders don't feel like leading, because many lead while they're bleeding. So you don't have to. There are seasons and times that we feel strong, and there are seasons and times that we feel weak. Okay? So, man of God, you don't have to feel like you're less of a man of God or less the head of the house because you feel weak. During those times you feel weak, admit your weakness, because admit your flaws, admit the areas where you need to grow, work on those areas, and then keep leading. Okay? And that is possible to do. My sister and I was raped by our brother, all while growing up. She became pregnant. My mother made us lie like she was raped. Now my sister's child wants to know who her dad is. Lord Jesus, help me. This is a 30-year struggle. My. Ooh, I hope y'all just heard that. My sister and I was raped by our brother. The sister becomes impregnated, have the child. Now the child, after 30 years, wants to know who their father is. Hold on a minute. Y'all hold on a minute. Give me a second. I got to see if I can earn another online. I got to earn an online doctor degree to answer this one. I can't. I gotta. Baby, bring me some blessed oil. I gotta do something. This is when you have to know God. This is when we take things so for granted. We take our lives for granted. We take just everything so for granted, and you have people right around you that are hurting, that are broken, that are going through some things, that are hurting, and we play in church, we play in all of this stuff, you know. While people are hurting, while people are broken. Okay, let me see if I can answer this. Maybe I wasn't serious, but okay. Then bring it on. Y'all, my husband bringing me some blessed oil. He is literally bringing me blessed oil, y'all. Y'all, the man done brought me the blessed oil. He done brought me the blessed oil for real. I'm going to have to anoint myself before I answer this question. I'm going to have to anoint myself. Lord, give me wisdom. Anoint my mouth. Give me wisdom. Okay, the question again is this. My sister and I was raped by our brother for years. God help me. Our mother told us to lie about it. The sister became impregnated. Now, 30 years later, the baby, whose father is also their uncle, wants to know who their father is. What should they do? Here's the deal. Here's the deal. There's several things that can go on here. I don't know if you still have a relationship with this brother or not. I don't know if the brother is still alive or in the family. If you were sitting in my office and I was counseling you as your counselor, you as a young woman, you and your sister, raped by your blood brother. Sister is impregnated. Mother told you to lie. It's been 30 years. That child wants to know who their father is. You cannot tell the child who their father is without preparing yourself or the child, who's now an adult, for what you are about to tell them. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? You cannot just sit them down and say, listen, your daddy raped me when I was a child, and that your daddy is my brother, your uncle. You can't do that. You cannot do that. Am I telling you to keep the child from this father? No, I'm not telling you that. I am telling you that it is not wise for you at this point to tell this child, who's now a grown person, that you were raped by your brother, the uncle. You're not covering the uncle. I want you to understand me. You are not covering the uncle. You are not covering the brother. You are covering your child. You are covering them as well as covering your own self, because you have to be prepared for all of these the emotions and all of the everything that's going to come after you say to them, your dad is your uncle who raped me when I was a teenager, a child. You have to be prepared. And this is where people miss it. This is what they do. They feel that I got to get it off my chest. But you got to prepare people for the secret. You can't just blurt out secrets. You have to prepare people. You've got to prepare. And yes, your mother should not have told you to lie then, because it was easier. It would have been easier to deal with it then than now. And my heart goes out for you, your sister. My heart goes out for you. My heart even goes out for your mother. How does a mother handle that? That her daughter got pregnant by her son, her brother. And now this child is in this family. And I'm sure every time, for the mother, every time she looks at that child, she sees the incident that happened. But I must applaud the mother. I must applaud you for keeping the child. Many would have said abort the child. But you kept the child, you raised the child. At this point, I do not believe that you should at this point. My advice to you would be, do not reveal the identity of the child's father without being prepared professionally. Do you hear me? Do not reveal who the father is until you have prepped the child, the families, all parties involved, so that you do not lose your child in the process. I've seen people, I've heard cases, I've seen people in incidents where people blurt out secrets and then somebody go kill somebody. Somebody wants to turn around and destroy somebody. And because nobody prepared them. I've seen people go and tell people such and so is cheating on you. Well, then they didn't prepare them for all of the repercussions that's coming after that. You just can't, well, I'm going to go tell my friend that her husband cheating on her with this woman. Then she goes over there and kills the woman because you didn't prepare them for that. You've got to prepare your heart, your sister, your mom. I don't know if the mom is still living. I don't know if the brother is still living. But I want you to understand that 38 years and it was painful, but I was set free indeed. I've got to go back and read that question. I don't know if that's the same person who just posted this question. But my heart goes out to you. My heart goes out to your mother. I believe, and even though your mother, I really truly feel that your mother was wrong in telling you to lie, because that was incest and that was incestual rape, which resulted from a child. And only thing I can say is out of pain that your mother chose to cover it up so that she could keep you, her daughters, as well as her son. And I don't know if your mother was a single mother. I don't know if there was a father in the home. I don't know the kind of support your mother had. But 30 years ago, this may not have been an easy decision for your mother. So I don't want to throw your mother under the bus either. I don't want to throw your mother under the bus either. But I just pray, I really do. I pray that you are able to forgive your brother, and I pray that you were able to forgive your mom. But my advice to you would be that you do not share the identity of the father with the child right now without prepping people and the persons who are involved professionally. Okay? You must seek professional help if you really strongly feel that you can't hold it any longer. Do not share the identity of their father without prepping that child first. It is going to devastate them. It is going to devastate them knowing that my father raped my mother, who was his blood sister, and she became pregnant with me. You know, children are very forgiving. Children are very forgiving. However, this is a grown person now. Had this been told to the child maybe younger, this is your father or whatever, may have been. But even then, it's still, not wise to do without professional help. Okay? So I really pray that you seek help. I really pray that this family, the entire family, gets into help. I hope that the brother has admitted his wrong. I don't want to keep putting that person on the spot, so I don't really want you to answer me right now, unless you just want to. But I pray that the brother has admitted his wrong and that he has sought counseling and that he is no longer participating in those bad, very painful, inappropriate behaviors. Okay? Because even then, I don't know right offhand the limits of statutory rape guidelines in your area. I don't know what area you're from, but people have to be prepared for all of that. You have to be prepared for all of that, and you have to see. If it was younger, then yeah, he probably would have gone to jail, did some prison time and stuff like that. Now I don't know. So you have to prepare yourself and people. Okay? That was difficult. All right. Whew. Another question. That was painful. That one was painful. That one was painful. That one was painful. I wish I could ask some questions of her. because I want to know how is the mother relationship, because there are a lot of things that's going to go on out of that scenario. Not only did you lose a brother, 9 times out of 10 you probably lost your mother, because you blame your mother for forcing you to be silent. Forcing you to be silent. When mothers are supposed to protect you, and here you got raped by your brother for years. I applaud you for finally telling your mother, but then when you told your mother, she did not believe you. So then therefore you're being abused twice. That was mental abuse. That's called mental abuse and emotional abuse, whereas your brother did mental abuse, emotional abuse, and physical abuse. And then to raise this child knowing and having to keep that secret. I look at it this way sometimes. You were able to keep it for 30 years. What are you going to gain out of sharing it now? Don't open up an emotional door for your child that may be best closed. So seek that professional help before you make that decision, so that that child could be professionally prepped on what you are about to share with them. All right? Whew. I don't even know if I can answer another question after that. That was pretty painful. Somebody said it eats away at you. I understand that, but sometimes, and I don't want to listen to what I'm going to say, because I don't want anybody to misquote anything that I say, and I don't want you to get the wrong. Listen, sometimes we can be selfish in our own healing and our own deliverance, that we fail to realize, what is my healing? If my healing is going to cause you to hurt, then I may need to seek my healing in another way. I hope that made sense. I hope that made sense. If my healing is going to destroy my child's life, then I'm going to seek my healing another way. That's what I wanted to get to her in her spirit. That's what I wanted. Yes, it may be eating at her to not be able to tell her child who their father is. But what is this going to do to the heart of the child? That's what I want you to think about. What is that going to do to the heart of the child? All right, guys, I hope this is, I believe that this discussion has helped some of you tonight. Listen, guys, incest is wrong. Incest is wrong. Brothers and sisters should never be engaging in sexual activities at all, on any level. On any level. Fathers should not be sleeping with their daughters. Nothing at all. Mothers should not be sleeping with their sons. Uncles should not be sleeping with their nieces. It's just wrong on all kinds of levels. Okay? Whew. Okay. Let's see if we can answer a few more questions. I don't know how long I've been on. How do you deal with my husband saying he's not happy? What are the steps to repair the marriage? You have a husband who's saying he's not happy. You've got to ask him, why isn't he happy? Ask him some of the areas. Ask, is he unhappy with you? Is he unhappy with himself? Is he unhappy with the money in the marriage? So that's a broad question. So when someone usually say, well, I'm not happy in the marriage, I normally ask them, okay, tell me some things about the marriage that you're not happy with, because then that gives you an opportunity to target a particular area. If it's you as a person, then I would say to them, if they say, well, I'm unhappy with you, then I would then say, well, then tell me some things that you're unhappy with me about. Because if it's some things that you can change and you want to save the marriage, it's that you need to know that information. I'm unhappy with the way you talk to me. I'm unhappy with the way, you smother me. I'm unhappy. So once you hear some of the areas of what's driving them to be unhappy, then you can begin to work on those areas to try to make them happy. Now, if they're not willing to share any information with you, they're not willing to go to counseling, they're not willing to talk, you're going to be in for a long, hard battle when it comes down to marriage, because marriage is, although marriage is a union of two who becomes one, you can never have a union of one without the work of two. Okay? Marriage is about two people agreeing to become one person, or one entity rather. And you'll never have a marriage if you only have one person who's working on it. Okay? My adopted mother died 2 years ago, and since my adoptive sisters and brothers have disowned us and told us our mother never loved us and they never loved us. And how do we deal with abandonment issues? Wow. You guys are really, 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 really asking and coming up with some very good, intense questions tonight. First of all, my heart goes out to you because you were adopted, and then your adopted mother passed away, and now her blood children, who were your adopted brothers and sisters. I don't like to use the word adopted, because legally, once you adopt a child, they are your child. That is your mother. Okay? So, unfortunately, your sisters and brothers decided that upon the mother's passing to disown you. Okay? Now, what you can do is to try to find a way to continue to be nice with them. If I was you, even though they've rejected you, I would still treat them like my brothers and sisters. Because sometimes you have to love people. Love hate out of people. It's what you have to do. You have to love the hate out of them. And so there are several things that could be going on with your brothers and sisters when you were adopted. This is what could have happened. They could have been jealous that the mother decided to bring someone else into the family, and then they could have seen your interactions with your mother, and so little jealousies come about. And so you have to sometimes use wisdom, and sometimes you have to say, I realize that you all may have felt for whatever reason that I took some things that maybe was due you, and I am grateful and forever grateful that our mother chose me to raise me as her own. And I am grateful for my family, my brothers and my sisters. I don't know where I would be without you. Talk like that. Don't talk like, don't say stuff like, why y'all don't want me, and y'all this and that. Don't say it that way. Sometimes you've got to use reverse psychology, and you've got to assure them, of what they mean to you. And if you can sometimes tell a person what they mean to you versus what they've done to you, that can then kind of break some things in their heart and in their spirit, because they may be going through some things that you're not aware of. So for them to say that, and your mother adopted you, raised you as her own, and they were your brothers and sisters, and now upon her passing, they're saying that, she never loved you. Well, you already should know that that's a lie. She adopted you. So something drove her to adopt you. And hopefully that was love. So that's probably pain talking. Okay? I would write them a letter. If you can't say it face to face, write them a letter and tell them what they mean to you. Okay? I hope that helped you. One more question. Oh, y'all are really coming up with them. Let me read. I'm educated brother that graduated from college. I thought by now, since I had degrees, I would have the space and things to do well. Instead, I lost my job, filed for bankruptcy, and now I'm assuming you said you've had to find other things to do. Listen, sometimes being in the hard place helps you find the better way. So don't always look at, the hard places. Why me? Something must be wrong with me. Learn to find something good in a bad place. That's what you can do. You said you lost your job. But look at it this way. You have some degrees. So if I was you, while you're in this downtime and you've lost your job, rediscover some things in you that you don't realize in you. You may come out of this situation an entrepreneur. You may come out of this situation with some goals and some things going on that'll blow you away, and you're going to look back and you're going to say, you know what, I'm so glad they fired me. Because look, I'm a multi-millionaire right now, running my own company, my own boss, which you never would have discovered had you still been sitting at their job. Okay? So use this downtime. Don't look at it as, I've lost my job. Don't look at it as, why is everything bad happening to me? Look at it this way. This bad just happened to me, but let me find a reason for the bad. There's a difference between the reason and the why. Okay, you hear me? There's a difference between the reason and the why. Because sometimes we say, why did this happen to me? Why did this happen? But if you look at the reason, in that reason, you may discover a reward. And you can receive some things in it. You start looking at, okay, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. I would have never discovered this had they not let me go. So think about it that way. And I promise you that'll help you. Okay? Hi, Chad. How are you, darling? So I pray that this has been good. I pray that those of you, especially those of you that ask the questions, those very, very sensitive questions, the life-altering questions, those of you who were raped, those of you who were molested, those of you who found yourself wrestling with some strongholds, those of you who say, my family walked off and abandoned me, my husband left me, my wife is off a little bit, she's doing things to me. I pray tonight that something that was said blessed you, encouraged you, pushed you, lifted you, and made you better. I do. I really do. I really hope and pray that whatever was said, if it's just one thing that was said, lifted your spirit out of the hurting place, okay? And begin to guide you to a happy place, all right? I've been in that place where you just don't know, where you're just so broken, where your heart is so heavy, you just don't know how you're going to make it. And then God sends you an answer. He sends you some peace in one area. And slowly, you begin to pull yourself out of it. All right? Share this with someone that you feel need to hear some of this advice, that may be going through some of the same thing. Share this with them. Tell them someone asked a question that they may have some concerns with, and here's an answer. I don't say I always have all of the answers. I know I don't. I don't seem to think that I'm the best at it. You'll never hear me say I'm the only one able to do this. I simply do what God has anointed me to do, and I pray that I do it well. That's my take on that. I simply do what God has anointed me to do, and I pray that I do it well. All right? For those of you that logged in, that simply say, Dr. Capehart, I thank you and I appreciate it. Continue to keep me in prayer, that I will forever be the voice of healing for the hurting. And I believe and know that that's what God has anointed me to do, to be a voice of healing for the hurting. All right? You be blessed tonight. You be blessed, you be healed, and you be made whole. No matter what has happened to you, don't allow it to destroy you. All right? Be blessed.